It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the sky.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. This morning, we continue our discussion and we are chatting with Assemblyman Sonny, who is also the Assistant Secretary in the Office of the Chief Secretary. Now, this morning, we are talking all about the island-wide removal of derelict vehicles. Can you tell us about that this morning? Good morning, by the way.
It's a pleasant good morning. Good morning. Good morning to Tobago and Trinidad, the entire world. We have come to the point where we are recognizing some changes in the Tobago culture, historical culture. There was some definitions used to describe Tobagonians at one point that had us down as industrious people, hardworking people. But one of the things that I really cherish is that we are always considered a clean people. Persons would visit the island and they would be amazed at the level of cleanliness seen in the space. But over time, we realize that persons are being irresponsible in some areas. And one of the areas is where they dispose of their derelict vehicles. People just leave them on the side of the road to rotten down. Some just leave them because, well, they have nowhere else to put them, at least so they think. So the THA, first it was brought to my attention by the Chief Secretary, and he said we should do something about it. And what we are doing is a partnership with the owners of these vehicles. We know sometimes some of these vehicles are cherished items because they might have brought memories of a time gone by. But we are saying that once these vehicles are no longer roadworthy, persons must move them from the roadway, the thoroughfare, because they are taking up valuable space and they could become an obstacle in the sense that it could trigger an accident. So we are saying that we are going to work with persons who have these vehicles on the road to have them removed. We are advising that you could move it to your personal space, but where a space is earmarked for public use, a derelict vehicle should not be there, should not be just stored in that space. And not just on roadways, because we have noticed some put them on the edge of recreation grounds and they are being overtaken by vines. Some people use them as places to hide contraband. Fellas, young people who are in drugs, and you know, sometimes you operate on the side of the road and there's a place you could tuck away your contraband, and when persons come to buy, they take out and they put back, so then they'll never have it on them. And we as a Tobago, we don't want that for the island. We don't want that kind of aura. So we're saying that beginning on the 24th, which is next Monday, we'll be embarking on a drive to clean the space of derelict vehicles in public spaces. And we have the cooperation of the police, the licensing office, and of course, we at the Department of the Environment will be leading the charge in cleaning up the space.
Right, and when you say a partnership, please explain what does that mean?
All right, partnership in the sense that this is not an adversarial campaign where we just want to take persons' prized old vehicles and throw them away. We want to give the owners an opportunity to remove them for themselves or to have the conversation with us as to what obtains with the vehicle.
Right. So, you said it starts on the 24th of February. Mm-hmm. Where on the island does the actual project start? Okay,
so we're beginning at Crown Point, the Crown Point, Bonaccord, Canaan, and we're coming up, right? Bukom and Pleasant, of course, Lowlands, Lambo. We're working our way up the island, yeah?
Right. And what if someone has their vehicle parked on the roadway, they still want it, but they do not have the physical capability to move it to another location, maybe inward onto their property on their own? Is it that the THA will provide them with the assistance via wrecking services when you talk about a partnership?
Correct. And that's the conversation we want to have with those who own these vehicles. Some persons might just not have a garage to store their vehicle, and they park it there every night and they do their business and they park it there. We're not targeting those. We're targeting those vehicles that are no longer in operation. And as you're suggesting, as your question suggests, we are going to partner with you if you do not have the facility to move it. Yeah. Once that is the situation, we are going to work with you, but we want the roadways cleared of these derelict vehicles.
What about situations where you are unable to identify the vehicle's owner?
That's where the licensing office comes in. They'll be working along with us. There are ways of identifying the owner of a vehicle, but generally, once a vehicle does not have a number plate on it and it's parked it's just on the side of the road, the law gives us the right to move it. Yeah? If it has a number plate and it has been there, and sometimes you could look at a vehicle in its parked state and see that it has not moved for a long time. It's just parked there. You might see grass growing up around the wheel housing and so on. So it's just to double check maybe the number plate, chassis number if possible, and have the licensing office verify the owner of the vehicle. From that point, our staff could reach out to the person and let them know we have intention of cleaning up this vehicle. What are your plans? Yeah.
And as it comes to environmental safety and sustainability, where would the vehicles be going? And
yeah, we have a space reserved in Studley Park where we're going to store these vehicles. We're going to stash them there basically and give the owners, in some cases, because every vehicle will be moved based on some kind of merit, right? The owner will have a chance to reclaim it if he thinks, but you'll be surprised to know that some persons have given up on these vehicles and would appreciate the assistance in moving them. Yeah. So then, is that every single vehicle will just be dealt with at the same level, if you understand what I'm saying? Yeah.
Understood. And my follow-up question was going to be, what about persons who are into that scrap iron industry? Are they also allowed to come and take parts of those vehicles?
That's the final part of the process. Yeah. That's the final part of the process, because the Scrap Iron Dealers Association of Trinidad and Tobago wants to partner with us also for speed. But I am holding out that, because as a person who once had a car just parked up on the road and I had to get rid of it, you find every opportunity you could to sell a few parts of the car and you could make back something, because the car is an investment. It's most likely the second largest tangible investment persons will make after purchasing a home. Yeah. So you have a car on the side of the road and there are good parts on the vehicle, and you could make $1 off it. We're going to support you on that. But the end product is, if a vehicle is using up public space and it's not in use, we think, and we have the backing of the law, that we should clean them off the street.
Excellent. And again, this starts on the 24th.
It starts on the 24th and it's ongoing.
Right.
We would like to know that, well, with the carnival season coming up, intensifying, and the potential for, and the demand for more movement, that this could make the roadways even more clear and prevent any potential hazard as we go along.
Excellent. And as you indicated before, you would be partnering with the owners of the vehicle.
Yeah.
So are you open to persons also reaching out to your department to express that they do need help as well in this area? And if so, how can they get into contact with you?
There is a team that would be going out in the communities. Of course, we are also seeking the assistance of Mr. Baker or one of those advertising agencies that go around with the speakers on the vehicles to alert communities that we're coming into your area to clean up, and persons would be able to communicate with the teams as they go around from place to place, from car to car, from village to village.
Right.
Yeah?
And what do you think is very important for Tobagonians to understand about this entire initiative?
This initiative benefits the people tremendously. These cars are also one of the disadvantages is that the cars hold water in many pockets, and with the presence of insect-borne diseases, Aedes aegypti, mosquitoes, they are nesting grounds. And persons should understand that in addition to the aesthetic of having a beautiful space, right, there is also the potential of preventing these diseases from festering in these vehicles. It doesn't look good. There are potential diseases. There could be an accident waiting to happen because these vehicles are parked on the side of the road. And so I'm thinking that the way we assess things as Tobagonians is a win-win for the people in the communities to come on board with us and support this program. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Well, we are going to wrap up here this morning.
Boy.
And we want to thank you so much for coming in and letting Tobagonians know that the removal of derelict vehicles program or project is happening right here on the island of Tobago. This is an initiative that is going to be worldwide. And as indicated before, you can reach out to the division yourself if you have any questions, need assistance, or possibly have more than a vehicle. Maybe you have a van, maybe you have a truck, maybe you have one of those bigger.
Well, that's why we say vehicle and not cars, because vehicles is as wide as it could get, you know. We recently had a big truck in Montervin, but the guy moved it and we are very happy because we would have had to bring in the heavy lifters to move that one. But no vehicle should just be sleeping on the side of the road indefinitely for weeks and months, and in some cases years.
But what about, I mean, I know this is a different conversation altogether, but there are persons who have those old boats and stuff parked on a piece of land. Sometimes it's even state land. How do you go about dealing with those sort of issues?
Those would be dealt with also. We didn't identify them in this campaign, but your question beckons that we should consider it more seriously, because the boats hold more water than the cars. And the same point about the potential diseases and mosquitoes and so on, that holds true, even more true with the boats. So the boats definitely will be a campaign we'll consider, and it doesn't have to take a long time, because when we were doing the Commonwealth Youth Games, we cleaned up a nice section of boats in Booker Point, and we had an area in the village to store them because they were using up valuable beach space. It's cultural in Tobago that boats along the beaches is normal. As you go into Charlottesville, for example, you meet boats along the beach as you drive right up along the beach as you drive in. So boats would be a campaign that is not part of this campaign, but it wouldn't take long for that to become a reality as we press forward. Yeah.
Understood. We want to thank you so much for that this morning. And we look forward to seeing Tobago all clean and all those vehicles that tend to, disrupt traffic in those villages removed.
Yeah. Could I, we're aiming to build the greatest little island on the planet, and that's the conversation. And I want Tobagonians to understand that we can't get greatness with mediocrity. We must aim and pursue a standard that is high, a standard that is sustainable, of course. And I think that this is one step. I hope that when I return, we could continue to discuss all those different areas that we could make changes in Tobago. But I want to encourage you, Tobagonian, today to look inward. Look at yourself, look at your space, look at just start in your yard and see where we could lift the standard to bring that kind of aesthetic value that the island really could put forward. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And is this a partnership as well with the Division of Health and Social Wellness?
This goes across divisions in a big way, but health will be our main partner going forward. Yeah?
All right. Thank you so much. Guys, we want to thank you so much for being a part of this morning's discussions. We want to thank you for your likes, your shares, and your comments, and all that you have been doing and continue to do to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster right here on the island of Tobago. Again, I am Shenell Felix, and I want to thank you.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise.